Alright, let's do a full Game of Thrones episode. We'll start by going over last Sunday's episode, Season 8, Episode 5, The Bells. There will be spoilers. Did you hear that? If you haven't seen Sunday's Game of Thrones episode, there will be spoilers. Let's put that on the screen. All of that, spoilers. 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 You know the drill. Okay, so we did that. We did our due diligence there. Okay, so apparently this episode was the most divisive so far among the fans. But I imagine that's going to be even more and more the case, especially as we head into the last episode. Personally, and for those of you who don't know me already, I tend to not dwell on the negative stuff. I enjoy pulling the positive from things and just kind of drinking away the negative parts. Maybe it's the Irish in me. So I'll start off by saying that my favorite parts is with the parts with Varys and Tyrion. I pretty much knew this was Varys' last stand when he finally got caught and Tyrion admitted it was his fault, and the fact that there was no ill will exchanged and Tyrion, gave him that little pat. Man, that was, heartstrings there. That was good stuff. I was moved there. I felt that. The other big part for me was early on with the private conversation between Jon and Dany. Jon trying to let her know that she still had his trust, and her rebuking him, saying that she's alone and that nobody in Westeros loved her. So fear it is. And it was at that moment that I knew, shit was going to hit the fan. And boy, did it hit the fan. From there, it was all downhill. In more ways than one. Danley finally gets to go full on balls of fire against the boat-mounted scorpions without being caught off guard, and basically single-handedly wipes out the entire Iron Fleet. So that's fun. Apparently at some point between point A and point B, they went from totally shooting down a dragon to kind of getting some stormtrooper aim. But, I'm going to mark that up to her catching them off guard and not vice versa. She continues to do the same to the wall-mounted versions and the Golden Company, allowing the remaining unsullied Dothraki and Northerners to invade the city. It didn't seem like there were that many of the rest of them. There's a pretty small army on both sides. Eventually the bells ring, as per the name of the episode, which signals the surrender. And we watch with horror on both Jon and Tyrion's faces as Danley finally gives into the hate, isolation, and trauma that she's been carrying with her for probably pretty much her entire life. And she takes Drogon, and the two of them go on a full-fledged city burninating spree. Meanwhile, we finally get the Clegane Bowl that everybody's been waiting for since we met the Mountain and the Hound. The real winner in that was the audience, who got to see what's underneath the Mountain's armor, which is at least what I've been waiting to see, which was basically a giant rotting mountain, zombie mountain, and then they both die in fire, which was suiting. I appreciated that. Jaime finally catches up to Cersei and leads her down to the basement where they end up being trapped, and then the whole Valancourt prophecy sort of comes true as Jaime hugs her around the neck. The entire building kind of gives way and falls in on killing them. I wasn't a big fan of Cersei's death. I kind of wish it was more violent, or at least, at the hands of somebody, but, what are you gonna do? And that was pretty much the episode, outside of, Arya kind of just surviving as Arya does, seeing a pale horse at the end that she eventually befriends and gets on to ride off into the sunset. A pale horse, and Arya kind of has a Wink, wink, nod, nod there at the end. What did you guys think? Did you hate it as much as most of Twitter did? Were you able to drink away the bad parts like I was? Let me know in the comments. We have 1 week left of the show. I know a lot of people are complaining, but HBO is still breaking records, so it must be doing something right. I know I'm still on the bandwagon, so, I'll be here next week. Thanks for watching. Hit the lights, Tim.